The organ blared triumphantly as I stood at the altar, my heart pounding like a war drum in my chest, ready to say, "I do," to a life I thought was perfect until a masked figure burst through the chapel doors, gun in hand, and everything shattered. In the chaos of screams and toppling flower arrangements, he grabbed me, his grip ironclad, yet strangely familiar, dragging me into the blinding sunlight of that crisp New York autumn day. As the world blurred into a frenzy of fleeing guests and distant sirens, I realized this wasn't just a random abduction. It was the unraveling of secrets I'd buried deep, pulling me back to a love I'd never truly escaped. My name is Ethan Ramirez, a 28-year-old architect from Brooklyn, and that fateful Saturday was supposed to be the pinnacle of my carefully constructed life. I'd met Sophia through mutual friends at a gallery opening in Manhattan. She was vibrant, ambitious, a marketing executive with a laugh that could light up the Empire State Building. Our engagement had been whirlwind. Our wedding at a quaint chapel in upstate New York, a dream scripted from rom-coms. But as my captor shoved me into the back of a black SUV, tires screeching on the gravel, my mind raced not to her, but to fragments of a past I'd locked away. The drive blurred into hours, the city skyline fading into rolling hills and dense forests as we headed west. Blindfolded, I felt the world tilt me, tuxedo rumpled, my phone confiscated, my thoughts a storm. "Who are you? What do you want?" I demanded, my voice cracking with fear and fury. No answer came. Only the hum of the engine and the faint scent of pine mingling with something achingly familiar, sandalwood cologne, the same one that haunted my dreams. When the vehicle finally stopped, rough hands guided me out into cool evening air thick with the chirp of crickets. The blindfold slipped away, revealing a rustic cabin nestled in the Adirondack Mountains, smoke curling from its chimney like a whisper. My captor stood before me, mask discarded, and time froze. Those piercing blue eyes, that jagged scar on his left cheek, I knew him. "Jordan," I whispered, the name tasting like forbidden fruit on my lips. Jordan Hale, my first love from high school in Chicago. The boy who'd stolen my heart in stolen moments behind the bleachers. The one I'd lost to a whirlwind of family expectations and societal pressures. We'd been inseparable, two teenagers navigating the treacherous waters of identity in a conservative suburb. But after graduation, he'd vanished without a trace, leaving me shattered, forcing me to rebuild in New York, convincing myself that chapter was closed. "Ethan," he said, his voice a gravelly echo of the boy I remembered, now a man hardened by years unseen. He was taller, broader, with stubble shadowing his jaw and a weariness in his gaze that spoke of battles fought alone. "I couldn't let you marry her. Not like this." Rage surged through me. "You kidnapped me from my wedding. Are you insane?" I lunged forward, but he caught my arms, his touch electric, sending jolts of memory crashing back. Late night talks under starry skies, tentative kisses that ignited my soul. "It's not what you think," he urged, leading me inside the cabin where a fire crackled warmly, casting flickering shadows on wooden walls adorned with faded maps. "Sit. Please. There's so much you don't know." As I sank into a worn armchair, adrenaline fading into exhaustion, Jordan paced, his story unfolding like a thriller I'd never anticipated. He'd left Chicago not by choice, but because his father, a powerful businessman with ties to shady dealings, had discovered our relationship. Threats, ultimatums. Jordan had been forced into hiding, assuming a new identity to protect me from the fallout. "I thought disappearing was the only way to keep you safe," he confessed, his eyes glistening. "But I've been watching from afar. Ethan, your life, your success, it's all I could cling to." The revelation hit like a tidal wave. All those years, I'd mourned a ghost, built walls around my heart, only to find him alive, risking everything to pull me from what he saw as a mistake. Sophia loves me, I protested, though doubt crept in. Our relationship had been comfortable, yes, but lacking the fire that Jordan and I had shared. As night deepened, we really talked for the first time in a decade. He showed me letters he'd never sent, photos from his nomadic life bouncing between cities like Denver and Seattle, always one step ahead of his past. The cabin, he explained, was a safe house he'd acquired under an alias. Vulnerability cracked his tough exterior. He admitted to therapy, to grappling with his sexuality in isolation, to the regret that gnawed at him daily. Emotions swirled: anger at his abandonment, sorrow for his suffering, and beneath it all, that undeniable pull. When he reached for my hand, I didn't pull away. The fire's glow illuminated our faces as we leaned in, lips brushing in a kiss that bridged years of longing. It was tentative at first, then fervent, a release of pent-up passion that made the world outside irrelevant. But dawn brought reality crashing back. My phone, returned to me, buzzed with frantic messages from Sophia. The police. My family. We have to go back, I said, torn between duty and desire. Jordan nodded, but his eyes held a shadow. There's more. Ethan. My father's empire, it's crumbling. Corruption. Fraud. He knows I'm back, and he won't stop until he silences me. And anyone I love. The stakes escalated. We weren't just rekindling a romance. We were entangled in a web of danger. As we plotted our next move over coffee, a distant rumble of engines signaled trouble. Jordan's face paled. They're here. Gunfire erupted outside, shattering the cabin's tranquility. We dove for cover as bullets splintered wood. Jordan, revealing a hidden arsenal, fired back with precision born of survival instincts. Run to the back, he shouted, covering me as I scrambled through the underbrush. Heart hammering, I glanced back to see him holding the line against shadowy figures' hired guns, no doubt sent by his father. In that moment, fear for him eclipsed everything. I couldn't lose him again. We escaped into the forest, the chase a blur of branches whipping past, our breaths synchronized in desperation. Hiding in a ravine as night fell once more, Jordan bandaged a graze on my arm, his touch tender amid the chaos. I never stopped loving you, he murmured, pulling me close. In the darkness, we found solace in each other, bodies entwining in a raw, affirming union that transcended words, a testament to resilience, to love defying odds. But survival demanded action. Using a burner phone, Jordan contacted an old ally in the FBI, spilling details of his father's crimes, embezzlement, money laundering through Chicago real estate firms. Evidence he'd gathered over years could topple the empire. But it meant testifying, exposing us both. As we made our way south toward Washington, D.C., evading pursuers in a stolen truck, our conversations deepened. I confessed my own struggles, the pressure to conform, the facade of heteronormativity that had led me to Sophia. I was hiding too, I admitted. Jordan's understanding gaze healed old wounds. In a dingy motel outside Philadelphia, passion reignited, but so did doubt. What about her? He asked softly after, tracing patterns on my skin. I have to face her, I replied, the weight of betrayal heavy. The next day, I called Sophia from a payphone. Her voice broke as she recounted the panic. The search parties. Ethan, where are you? Are you okay? Tears streamed as I explained not everything, but enough. I'm sorry. I can't marry you. There's someone from my past. I need to figure this out. Her silence stretched, then softened into understanding. I suspected something was off. Be safe. Ethan. Find your truth. Relief mingled with guilt. But it freed me. Jordan and I pressed on. The road a metaphor for our journey twisting. Uncertain. But shared. Arriving in D.C. We met Agent Carlin Nguyen in a secure cafe. Her team pored over Jordan's files, ledgers, emails, photos linking his father to criminal syndicates. This is gold, she said. But dangerous. We'll protect you. As arrests loomed, Jordan's father made a final playa ambush at our safe house. Chaos ensued, shouts, flashes of light, the acrid smell of gunpowder. Jordan shielded me, taking a bullet to the shoulder. In the melee, I grabbed a fallen weapon, firing wildly to cover our retreat. Medics arrived, sirens wailing. Jordan, pale but alive, squeezed my hand. We made it. In the aftermath, his father was indicted. The empire dismantled. Jordan testified, his voice steady, reclaiming his narrative. I stood by him, our love no longer hidden. Months later, back in New York, we built a life together simple, authentic. I returned to architecture, designing spaces that celebrated diversity. Jordan pursued counseling, helping others navigate similar paths. Our wedding was intimate, on a Brooklyn rooftop under twinkling lights, surrounded by friends who'd become family. As we exchanged vows, I reflected on the kidnapping not as trauma, but as salvation, a bold act that forced us to confront truths, embrace love in its truest form. In embracing our identities, we found not just each other, but a deeper humanity, the courage to love fiercely, to forgive, to rise from ashes. Our story, born of shadows, became a beacon proof that hidden truths, once revealed, can illuminate the soul. The cabin's isolation had been our cocoon, but emerging from it, we faced the world anew. Jordan's wound healed slowly, a scar mirroring the one on his cheek, a badge of survival. Physical therapy sessions in D.C. became our routine, interspersed with stolen moments of tenderness that reaffirmed our bond. Agent Nguyen kept U.S. updated, indictments rolled in. Not just for Jordan's father, but a network of accomplices. The media frenzy dubbed it the Hale Scandal, splashing headlines across papers from the New York Times to the Chicago Tribune. We stayed low, but whispers of our story leaked. The kidnapped groom, the prodigal son, returned. One evening, as snow dusted the Capitol, Jordan turned to me over dinner. Do you regret any of it? His eyes searched mine. Vulnerable. Never, I said firmly. It woke me up. To you. To myself. Our return to New York felt like homecoming. I sublet my old apartment, and we found a cozy brownstone in Greenwich Village, its walls echoing with laughter instead of secrets. Sophia and I met for coffee. Closure came with hugs and well wishes. She was dating someone new, her spirit unbroken. Jordan dove into advocacy, volunteering at LGBTQ+ centers, sharing his journey to inspire youth. If I can help one kid avoid what I went through, he'd say, trailing off with a determined smile. My designs evolved too, incorporating inclusive elements, like gender-neutral spaces in public buildings. A commission for a community center in Harlem became my passion project, symbolizing rebirth. But shadows lingered. Nightmares of the chase plagued us. Therapy sessions unpacking trauma. In vulnerability, we grew closer, love deepening into partnership. A year post-kidnapping, we vacationed in the Rockies, revisiting echoes of our escape. Hiking trails, we talked futures, adoption, travel, growing old together. Back home, our circle expanded. Friends like Marcus, a fellow architect, and Lena, a therapist, formed our support network. Dinners buzzed with stories, Our tale becoming legend minus classified details. Jordan proposed properly one sunset in Central Park. Ring glinting. Will you marry me? For real this time. Tears blurred my yes. The ceremony was us, vows pledging honesty. Love transcending trials. As we danced, I marveled at fate's twist from abduction to altar. Our story taught resilience, love, when true, endures. In America's mosaic, we found our place, advocating for acceptance, proving hidden truths forge unbreakable bonds. Life post-wedding hummed with normalcy laced with purpose. Jordan's book Deal chronicled his ordeal, anonymized for safety. Royalties funding scholarships for at-risk LGBTQ+ youth. I guest lectured at universities, sharing how personal upheaval fueled creative innovation. Students hung on every word, eyes wide at tales of love defying danger. Challenges arose family reconciliations. My parents, initially shocked, warmed to Jordan over time. Holiday dinners bridging gaps. His mother, long estranged, reached out post-trial, tears flowing in reunions. A scare came when remnants of his father's network surfaced, but FBI protection quelled it. We learned vigilance, but refused paranoia. Intimacy evolved, from fervent reunions to quiet companionship cooking together. Weekend getaways to the Hamptons, fostering a rescue dog named Scout. On our first anniversary, we revisited the Adirondack cabin, now a vacation spot. Fire crackling. We reflected. From kidnapper to husband. I teased. From runaway groom to forever. He countered, pulling me close. Our love, forged in fire, illuminated paths for others. Speaking at Pride events, we shared, embrace your truth. For in revelation lies freedom. As years beckoned, we dreamed big parenthood, global impact. Ethan's story, not just survival, but triumph of the heart. In the quiet moments, gratitude swelled. What began as catastrophe blossomed into profound joy, a testament to love's redemptive power. We were proof, even from darkness. Light emerges, guiding us home.